Wathinta umfazi, wathinta imbokodo, itsho nengoma. You have tampered with women, you have struck a rock. That was a stern warning issued by women to J.G. Strydom, the then Prime Minister in the apartheid state of South Africa, on this day, 9 August 1956, whereby more than 20,000 South African women of all races staged a march on the Union buildings in protest against the proposed amendments to the Urban Areas Act of 1950, commonly referred to as the Pass Laws. The march was led by women like Abomama uLillian Ngoyi, Helen Joseph, Rahima Musa, and Nabomama Sophia Williams, among others. Today marks the 64th year since the 1956 march took place, but incidences of violence, discrimination against women, and lack of opportunities for women are still as prevalent as they were decades ago. Kodwa ke sekunjalo, we continue to wish all South African women a happy Women's Day. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's Choralist conversation with me, Sibusiso Njeza. If you're joining me on Facebook this afternoon, please like the Facebook page, The Choralist, so that you can get notifications when we go live. And also, if you are joining via YouTube, subscribe. It's free so that you get notifications whenever The Choralist goes live. So today and next week, I will be hosting Ama Oledi, you know, the giants of this game, choral music. Abantu who've been here on the stage, teaching, facilitating workshops for decades, like more than 3 decades, the Kule industry. Next week, among other women, will be the composer of the piece that I played at the beginning, Umama Uteri Sotambo. So look out for that conversation as well. But this afternoon, I am joined by women who are going to let us into their endurance and decades of success in a male-dominated terrain, esiyaziyo, choral music in South Africa, because there's so many men who are at the forefront. It gives me pleasure this afternoon to welcome Umama Majiza joining me from her home in King Williamstown. Molweni, ma'am.
Hello, Matthew.
How are you this afternoon?
Phile kakhulu. Phile ndonwabile kakhulu xa sifumana le mini intle kangaka. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Thank you. I'm very well. I'm very well. So happy that eventually you are here. I know how a struggle it is to connect in these technology things. So I'm happy that finally you are here. Also, this afternoon, I am joined by Dr. Yoli Nompula in KZN. Good afternoon, Doc.
Hi, Sbu. How are you?
I'm all right, Doc. It seems as though your video is off because I cannot see your picture. I do hear you, but I don't see your picture.
What happened? Because I didn't touch nothing.
Maybe it's just the strength of your network. It will come up just now.
Okay.
Let me also welcome Umama Mfenyana from Queenstown in the Eastern Cape. Molweni, ma'am.
Moraput,
How are you this afternoon?
I'm fine, Mr. Njeza. How are you?
I am very well. I am very well. As happy as I said earlier that you are here this afternoon. I also seem to be struggling with Umama Nqata because she was here just before we went live. I think she got disconnected, but when she comes back, I will then bring her up. For now, let's carry on with the show. Mama Majiza, I want to start with you. Let me start with you right away.
Okay.
You know, yes. I just want to know when you became a conductor, more especially the conductor of Voices Unlimited, which used to compete against big choirs as well, who were driven by men. How was the choral scene at the time when you first started out as a conductor? And also, what did it mean for a woman, you know, to stand in front of a choir? Because the choirs that we knew at the time were conducted by men. So how was the choral scene at the time?
It was very challenging, especially that I was still a chorister when I started conducting Voices Unlimited. And the first competition, I was wearing my uniform, the choir uniform, the white dresses. Somebody said to me, "You are going to take this piece. Take it to where?" "No, you are going to conduct." Then I said, "Aibo, does it work like that? Na into injalo." But no, come forward, come and conduct. I couldn't do otherwise, but because I was used to the choir, because I was doing the rehearsals and practices with the Voices Unlimited. So it was not that challenging as such, but it was just a shock because I didn't expect to come on stage and conduct a choir rather than singing in the choir as soprano.
And so who was the conductor?
Somebody was bullying me. The conductor was Victor Majiza.
Oh, thank him for that. Thank you for that. So you became a conductor, and from that day, and you continue to conduct and compete. So how was the experience of competing against men now that you started out like that?
Wow, so it was not easy. It was not an easy thing to do because each time you get on stage, you see this man and you know, this choir used to win. Now I'm competing against this man and this one as well and this one. And then I said, Chikondi twale. Twale, whatever happens, let me not see this man. Let me just see the choir and nothing else and the music. But I did it. I did it. And in 1988, the first time that I conducted the choir, I went through to the finals.
Oh, wow.
I went to the Standard Bank Arena.
Wow.
Come again?
Wow. No, I wanted to ask if it was the time you were conducting that driver song. I love that song.
No, it was not the driver. It was Upili, Iboko Yasemangwevini, composed by Utata Mike Ngxokolo.
That's an interesting title.
Iboko Yasemangwevini.
That's an interesting one.
Upili, Iboko Yasemangwevini. Ekokela itoitoi. Very interesting story. When he composed this song, I went to him and said, I'll be conducting for the first time at Standard Bank Arena. And now I want something just unusual for my choice, miss. Then Wabuza, are you not afraid of the stage? Then I said, no, not at all. Give me anything. He composed the song. I stayed at his place for the whole weekend. Brought back the song to the choir. Everybody was laughing. But we managed to do the song.
You know, I'm going to come back to you because there's one interesting thing I want to know about you. In all the workshops that I have been part of where you were a facilitator, by the time you finish facilitating, I would be, longing for the choir that very moment. You have a way of inspiring conductors to want to go on stage. Maybe that's one of the things that I want to know about, but later in the conversation, so that whoever wants to get into that terrain can actually learn from those tips. Well, I'm hearing the title of the songs that you were doing. They're not easy songs. The message was always hidden. One would have to dig deeper. So I'll get back to you,
Yes,
Mama.
yes.
Let me move
Okay,
on to, let me move on to Mfenyana. Mfenyana, you are one of the few leaders who possess a well-rounded experience of leading the choral music space, because you worked in different capacities within the sector. You were a conductor. Oh, it looks like Mrs. Mfenyana. Oh, there she is. Mrs. Mfenyana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, yes. So I was saying you are one leader in choral music who has a well-rounded experience, because you worked as an educator, you conducted, you worked for arts and culture where you were exposed to working with adult choirs. You also now in the Department of Education leading the SASKE project. So what I want to know, how did you find a way, to navigate your way through all these different capacities as a woman? Because in all these sectors, men are dominating and they're not making it easy.
Thank you, Sibu. Good afternoon to the viewers. For a start, I want to say, yes, it's very hard to work amongst men, and it's very hard as a woman in the choral sector.
Oh, once again, off she goes. We will get Mfenyana back. It seems like her network is giving her trouble. Nqata is here.
Yes.
Mama, can you hear me? Oh.
Yes, I can hear you, Sue.
Okay, Mfenyana is back. Let's give her a chance whilst abuyile. Mama ubusaqala, and then you went off. You can continue.
Thank you. I started my conducting not as a career at college, because at college, amongst other things, we had to conduct. So I apparently at last took the female voice for my college, and I had to still at the college level. Fortunately, after that, when I got to a rural school, when I started teaching, I had to have a choir. And unfortunately for them, I had to transfer to Bulelani, because Bulelani wanted a conductor. They also wanted a music teacher. So I had to transfer. At Bulelani, I think it started in 1987. I had a choir in 1987 of 37 girls. Remember that time we were having our national in Nqata. We could not go to Gauteng at that time, but that choir, my first choir with 37 girls, won our national. And after that, many schools were into choral music, and they were starting to work hard. I did okay. I love this genre, and I am into it now. So in order to go smoothly.
Yeah, we will have to be patient with network Mfenyana. Unfortunately, when we were testing yesterday, she was just fine. Okay, she's back again. Ubuyile kwakhona ma, continue.
Okay. In order to go smoothly into this genre, there is a gap, because the reason why I was beaten, I think once or twice, it's because I didn't have an addition of music education. Remember, this is talent, right? We get it from God. But
Yeah.
if you want to settle in this genre or in this fraternity, you must add something that is music education. You must have it all, so that you can be strong enough against the men folk in the genre, because men are very strong. For instance, they have those gestures. So some of us become very weak when you see them on stage. But what made me to be so strong? My school decided to add music as in class. So what I had to take that class. I had to teach.
Sure. Once again, we lose Mfenyana. Nqata, while sisalinde yena, welcome, because we couldn't see you when we started. Now that you are here, let me get on with you. We will catch up with Mfenyana as we continue. You conducted or directed choirs from different places. Nqata, you were involved, and after a while, and those choirs that you were part of in Nqata were successful. And then you moved on to Free State with Bel Canto Voices as well. That choir was successful both in the standard and large categories when you were part of ENCF. And you are still, as far as I know, unless you just retired, that much I don't know. But I know you are still involved as a conductor. What has actually kept you going all these years? I think that's one thing we need to learn from you.
Thank you, Sbu. Let me start by introducing myself. As when I was recruited by members of Untitled Chapter, I was teaching at Blackberry College. Then I was recruited by Untitled Chapter Society. Little did I know that music fraternity reserved a huge space for female choral practitioners to show their various skills and roles within the fraternity, as the choral sector was mainly dominated by males during that time. Of course, as well, suffice to say, there were already strong women figures who were making their voices heard, as well as their actions recognized in the length and breadth of this country. In the likes of Mande Sanguza, who was my lecturer at college, Sheila Spellman, Miss Kosana, who was conducting hospital choir then, Nomonde Majiza in front of you, and late Nodutuzela, Matthews, to mention but a few. Of course, then I was inspired by these strong women, and I also developed love and interest of choral music, as I wanted to emulate them in their esteemed struggle of doing the huge gap that existed among the males and female practitioners within the choral sector. So I started conducting Nqata choral, but really it was not an easy thing, though it was not about men. Erskine choir was very strong by then. To tell you the fact, I managed to get better position in the province, but I've never touched the national finals for Fort choirs then. But as a woman, I said to myself, I won't stop until I get where I want to be. Then with choral is because it was not about me. I was working with choristers. They were very cooperative. So my work was not that difficult for me. Then I won so many awards, but in the provincial. Then I relocated to Free State with bel canto voices. Then when I get there, I was teaching in a high school. Then I developed those learners to be in the large section, and in the community choir. As you know, Sbu, I won the standard section in 2006. I was a champion in the national. And also in 2008, I get to the large section. I won that large section. I feel so proud, Sbu, that the male dominance that ruled over the NCF national championship title over a number of decades was historically put to an end by the bel canto voices, which was mainly comprised of the students that I developed from school. Though these members that were developmental products from a school, they won the national finals, and then a new record of a female was created.
Yes, and you know, through it all, from Quintetta Choral, Vumaningoma, then bel canto, what has been your motivation, you know, to stay as long as you did? Because bel canto, as you said, it stopped men in the main in 2008, because we know the Durban Serenades, your Matthew singers, your Gauteng choristers, your SA singers, they were dominating until then. Your Joy of Africas, your Peter Maritzburg Society, but you endured until 2008. What has been the driving factor behind that?
As you have just said, Sbu, it was a norm that men were mostly credited for being founders of choirs and initiators of establishing new choirs in the society in the past. It rarely occurred that a woman would have a nerve to form a choir within the society. One of the memorable steps, which I feel it was the cause of having an energy to go on, where the people, because music was my passion, is my passion, let me not say was. So it was because music is a passion. So the people that I was working with, as I say, they were younger than me. So it was easy for me to give, I don't want to say to give instructions. So I was working with them, I was motivating them. That is why at the end, with the Fumani, I had people like Smulele Njali, who was my singer, and Malusim Chalela. You know, with those boys, they started singing with my choir whilst they were doing standard 7. So they were also motivating me, the people that I was working with.
That's great. Let me give you a break and invite in Dr. Nompula. Dr. Nompula, yours is somewhat a little different, because when you defined your interest and focus from the onset that you are going to be an academic and you are going to be in the education sector, you are going to develop and produce academics and singers. So how did you succeed in that? Because even in that sector, whether you're an academic or you have chosen to sing, or still you find men. And so as a Black woman, how did you survive until now? Because you are still teaching, you are still supervising postgraduates in their thesis. So how has it been for you to get to where you are now?
Thank you, Sibu. Hello to the listeners and all of you. Actually, it's because of the passion that you have. And you told yourself that you're not scared of anything because you've got something that you have to share with the people out there. And was also motivated because I had done music degree and then with all the voice and choral technique as well, because we did conducting and adjudication as well at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, no, at the University of Zululand under Prof. Mungoma. May his soul rest in peace. So he taught us a lot of things, and then that equipped me a lot to stand on my own and stand like a man. Because if you've got knowledge, there's no need for you to fear anything if you've got something to share. So after that, I went to Natal University and I did music education, as you say, music education. And then my master's was on ethnomusicology. Ethnomusicology is more like talking about other musics that are looked down upon, like African music. And my passion is to bring in African music in the classroom, because I could see that when I was overseas doing my PhD, I actually wrote a thesis and did research, qualitative research on bringing African music or any other music that is not dominant. Because as we all know here in South Africa, the music education is very Eurocentric. And you find that when you go to those schools down there, the kids don't understand this kind of music because it doesn't relate to them. So my question when I was doing my PhD and my study was, why can't we bring the music that the kids will understand? I'm not saying must do away with this music, Eurocentric music. It must be there, and then bring something that is going to relate to the learners out there, so that they can gain something. Because from music, I mean, any other music, you learn history, you learn poetry, you learn the language, you learn the idiomatic expressions of the language, and you begin also to understand the people of this culture, because you have studied their music. You understand how do they think, how do they behave. But if you are running away of learning other musics, that's why we are so willing, we Africans, to learn the music of Europe or Western music, because we learn a lot of things and we are able to relate them and understand the white people. And then while I was still studying this, doing this study in PhD, I said to myself, if you bring these music together, especially here, I'm going to talk about South Africa now. If you bring these musics, like African music, there are a lot of Africans here, and they're all doing music, they love it. And then you bring in those white people also, those white kids also, they will learn the language also. If you bring it in the classroom, they will learn the language, and in turn will learn their language as well. And then we are able to relate to them. So that empowers me a lot to be able to stand, because when you are doing a research, you are equipping yourself as well. So I survived. It's also, for me, it was more the domination of men and also white people, because I did music is more on the white universities. So I end up being a Black woman, especially in the United States, only Black woman in the music department. And what I like about the Americans, they give you a platform. They want to listen to you, because that's what we need as women. We need people that can listen to us and not talk, criticize and look down upon women as if they don't know anything. We are human, and then we know what we're doing. And then also we've got knowledge and skills. So if we can just be given a chance. So in the United States, they give you that, so that we can talk about African music from South Africa to them, so that they can learn. They are willing to learn from us. But here in South Africa, I feel like when I was doing a research here, when I was here at UKZN and with my students, I found that the Westerners, or no, I don't want to say Westerners, the white people will say we are lowering the standards if we bring in African music in the classroom. And I always tell them that no, we were going to do both. There was going to be Western music and African music in the classroom to equip the learners, your children and our children as well, so that they can relate. Because through music, you
looks like we are losing Dr. Nompula there. When she comes back, I will bring her back up. Mrs. Majiza, there's a question for you. There's a question for you
Yes,
from
sir.
Ulubabalo. Uyakubuza Ulubabalo, what challenges did you have in interpreting the song? I think ilangombi sithi ilabhokwe yasemangwevini. And the importance of not giving audience a substandard kind of presentation, and also citing the fact that it was about a certain clan. So Yabuza, what are the challenges you faced in interpreting that song?
The challenges were the rhythms in the first place, and not knowing exactly what is this Billy Iboko Yasemangwevin. So I had to talk to the composer. What about this Billy Bokwe Yasemangwevin? Then he explained that it was when this Bokwe sees Itoitoi on endleleni, he will just jump and be on front of Itoitoi and also do this the toy thing. Then I said, and then what is it important about it? It's something that is very strange. Tell those people that even animals are human beings and they can give you something. Then I said, how am I going to do this? Okay, fine. Let me go back to the choir, and then I sat down. I usually take the lyrics out of the music and so as to reach the climax of the song and see where the actual message is hidden. Then I said, okay, this is now where I get the message. This is how I'm going to interpret the song, because it must be in you that you believe this song means this to me. And if it means this to me, let me see if the music relates to what I'm thinking. Then I said, okay, fine. Though it was not an easy piece, because it was for the first time that I'll be on stage at the finals, competing against men who are used to be on stage. Then I said, no, let me just tell myself that I'm a musician and that I'm a born musician. I'm here because God gave me the talent. Let me just work on and not be afraid of whatever comes on stage. So that's how I got the interpretation. And another thing is, you also need to consult other practitioners. One of the things that we normally don't do, we consult other practitioners and say, what about this? Because what I'm thinking of, it is this. Then somebody will tell you, no, this is excellent. The other one will say, wow, for the first time I'm hearing a woman talking like this. Then I said, yeah, bangenila bafaz. And I'm so proud to say I got more closer, very closer to Lindelwa, Nqata, when she was conducting Nqata choral, when I was conducting If the Voices Unlimited. We were friends ever since, up until this very moment. That's why I say today, this is the reunion to me. And we worked very hard. I would phone her, or I would visit her, she would visit my place. We spent a lot of time with both choirs, practicing and doing this interpretation. No, let's not do it this way. Manqata, you know, things like that. We will discuss and discuss, but we will come out with something that will help both of us. I'm so very proud of that. It's not easy to interpret somebody's song, but you need to do some research. You do a research and get the style of the composer. see beyond the written notes and read the lyrics, and so as to get the best presentation of the music you're dealing with. Otherwise, you can't just sit down, do the notes, and allocate them the lyrics to them, and then say, let us all sing. You need to sit down, prepare the song, and see if even the parts are well balanced. And why at times you'll find that the melody is also here. And you get melodies, especially with African compositions. You get a melody from all the voices. You have to search on that and see what you can do about it. Also, look at the written notation. If it's written to bring out it's possible the melody is with the bass, but the tenor will just put some spice in the music and assist the basses in some notes. Then that's where the hard work is, to get the interpretation of the song.
Yes, I hope.
I learned a lot from my lecturer.
Okay. No, kubeka ma'am.
I learned a lot.
Okay.
I learned a lot also from the late Prof. Ukora Hanken, how he interpreted a song. Ukora will just take any song, just a hymn from the hymn book, and then Atitulan, we all sing the song, and then he will say, one of you must come and conduct this. And then we said, Aibo, he will play the piano, and it just suddenly changes the mood of the song by adding something, looking at the lyrics and the music arrangement. Then I said to myself, wow. He would also advise us to say, when you represent any kind of music, ask yourself, why this dynamic here? The song started on MF, but suddenly changes to MP. And then all of a sudden it's in loud. Then you look at those things and the tempo changes and the repeated sections. Why this section is repeated? And then you get the message that this is what the composer needs from his performance. Those are the very, very, very crucial things that you need to look at when dealing with a choir, so as to develop not only you, but the choristers as well. They must learn something from you because you have learned something from somebody else.
So it looks like again with you, Majiza, nawe Nqata, for now. There's a question here. There's a question. I'll start with you, Nqata, kule question. Ibuzwa ngubutsakumzi here. What are the challenges that you think you have not yet properly addressed within the sector, which in a way, these challenges hamper the progress of the sector? What are those challenges which you feel we have not addressed as a sector, perhaps, and those challenges ziphazamisana ne-progress within the sector ye choral music in South Africa? Let me start with you, Nqata.
Thank you, Sbu. Thank you, Sbu. The first challenge that I can mention, that can you hear me, Sbu?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. One major drawback that contributed hugely in preventing our sector from improving and developing further to a level aspired by many, including the interviewers, in the absence of choral talk, in the absence of choral talk shows that will serve as platform to share views and ideas among the choral practitioners themselves. Such talk shows would surely help in delving much into different choral aspects, envisaging to take this sector into another level. Another challenge that I can mention, choral music shows should be instrumental in raking in various ideas from the different individuals who might seem to be willing to share their visions and dreams about how a choral music sector should be shaped for future progress. So, choral music sector has a number of challenges that need to be addressed by the beneficiaries of the sector, themselves. If you allow me, Sbu, let me briefly enlist but a few challenges that I assume form part of some drawbacks within the choral fraternity. One, among other primary challenges that face our sector is inability to contribute towards the growth of the country. The fact of the matter, Sbu, is that we live in a modern society where economic challenges need to be addressed for us to live. Among other primary challenges that face our sector, I've mentioned that our sector has, up to this moment, failed to provide living conditions for the practitioners.
Yes.
We still pursue our... It's dead.
Nqata, can you hear me? Yeah, that is the story of this afternoon. At least I still have you, Majiza. Usekhona, and I see you, Mfenyana is back. Mfenyana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but
okay, let me bring you exactly where we are. There's this question, Ebuziweyo. The question is about challenges that you feel have not been addressed within the sector and challenges that hamper the progress of the sector. What are those challenges and what can we do to address such sectors whilst usekhona, because the network yakho yakusokolisa this afternoon?
I've been through challenges in adult choirs and school choirs. And the first one, because the challenges are not the same with the adults and the school choirs. In the adult choirs, many challenges arise from people who have not yet been well trained in the fraternity, but they are in already. They need training. I think in the adult world, that one is not yet being addressed. And secondly, since they are adult choirs, they don't take this fraternity so seriously. Yes, I know some of them, they love it, but some of them, they are there just because they want to be seen singing. I'm coming to the point of discipline. Yes, music is a genre for discipline, okay? But in the choirs, discipline is not yet there. You would look at them in a competition and you would see that these people are not as if they are in a competition. They know they are here, but they don't know what to do, what time, and how to behave sometimes. The other one is that in our choirs, especially the adult choirs, there is the management. Sometimes the management does not understand what the choirs want, and sometimes the choirs want to do as they wish. So that is another problem that needs to be addressed in the choral fraternity. Coming to school choirs, it depends on the conductor. It depends how strong she is, because a conductor that is disciplined will always have a disciplined choir. A conductor that knows what it takes in the music fraternity, or a conductor that has all the knowledge that is needed in this fraternity, will have a very neat, disciplined choir all the time. So that's why I say it depends on the conductor and the management of the school, in as far as school choirs are concerned. And one other thing, it depends on the behavioral tendencies of the conductor. Sometimes one could have a very good choir and disciplined as we wish, or as we are looking at it, but you find that the conductor is not at all disciplined. So that's why I say it again depends on the behavioral tendencies of the conductor.
Yes, Dr. Nompula,
Still on the school choirs, there are many things that we have addressed. There are many things that we have not addressed. I've touched on adult choirs, but with school choirs, we need to work very hard, because there are rules that we have to touch on in schools. It is not like in the adult world. In schools, you have to be verified in order to conduct. And it is on that point that we don't see eye to eye with with our districts, with our conductors, with sometimes our coordinators. They seem not to yet understand why we need to verify, because we need these kids, these learners, these choristers to know they belong to that school. They are bona fide students of that school, and in that school they have to sing for their school. So if now there are other learners from other schools or from other adult choirs, when are these kids gonna get a chance to showcase their talent, that they are also singers? So we need to give them chance. The second thing is that there are budget constraints. Yes, in all provinces we are experiencing that, but I'll go back to the discipline of the management and the conductor in a school. If you plan, you don't have to experience any problems of having problems in the choir, because you need to plan with the budget that you have, and then you need to see what to do early so that the choir doesn't experience any problems. Again, in school choirs, we are doing everything that we can do to try and workshop the conductors. All the conductors, I think, in all the provinces, they have been workshopped on the 2020 syllabus that has been deferred to 2021. We have trained them, all of them, but definitely I know that we're gonna get different presentations on stage. Yes, I said earlier, this is a talent plus education. I know people will interpret in whatever in whatever way they want to. But I want to address the fact that there's the problem of not staying on basics or working on basics, because basics of music are your tunnel to fame in the choral fraternity, and they are your strength, because if you look at the basics, you do whatever is in the song, and then you can use your interpretation of note. But firstly, you stick to the basics that are there. For instance, there was a song in the Bendala that I conducted. In the Bendala, you know, there were no, there was nothing. It was clean. And then when we took the original one that was written by hand by Mahlangeni, and then we could see, oh, this one has got everything. Each and every bar has something. So we had to. You had to use your knowledge. You had to use your expertise. You had to use your everything in order to interpret that song for Mahlangeni. And I'm very happy to say Mahlangeni was very pleased by our presentation as Bulani. He cried, he was adjudicating, and he cried when we did Indebendala. Indebendala is very difficult. It is not easy at all. What I did there, I started with the basics. And then I did the songs and everything that is there, I did it. And after that, we took the text and interpreted it. So that one is also hard. And it is not yet being addressed because you see, it's like you see people, she forms choir, and then the kids know the song, and after that, it is all that he can do. It is like taking your food, not yet cooked, and you pour spices. You don't do that. The food should be properly cooked first, and then you can pour spices. Those are the challenges that are still in the choral that are not yet addressed. The other thing is that we have, okay, the adjudication also that is also part and parcel of conductors, learners, and us as management. You know, it is. I just want to quote the last year, where there was a problem generally of learners or schools not being pitch stable, which is one of the cause of choral music. Pitch instability is very important and it needs to be addressed. That is one of the things why I say it's like cooking food and pouring spices before the food is well cooked. There was that problem of pitch instability made some choirs last year not to reach the national competitions. In so much this year we're busy, our adjudicators were giving them, they are going to use pitch pipes so that we don't have that problem again in our province. I think those are the problems that we still have, that we still have to do something about them so that our choral music fraternity can be like other music fraternities.
Yes, we were addressing a question that was posed here about current challenges that the choral sector is facing. And as you have heard, that question was addressed thoroughly. And at the core of all the responses, we are being taught to be thorough in whatever we do, to go beyond what is given to you in that piece of paper, to know that there's more work. And that is something that perhaps a young conductor out there should learn as they're listening to this conversation. Dr. Nompula, there's a question for you. There's a question, a question. Knowledge beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. How does she make sure that her students don't drop the ball and they always keep their eyes on the prize? How do you keep your students motivated? How do you help them succeed as they are teacher or supervisor?
Thank you, Sbu. Yeah, it goes a long way because first of all, you must sell yourself as a teacher. The learners or the students must like you because you have sold yourself to them. Don't be distant to them so that you can just live with them, so that you understand their problems and try and help them. Yeah, sometimes it happens so that am I still there, Sbu?
Yes, you are still here, even though we don't see your picture, but we can hear you. You can continue, Doc.
There we go. Yes. And,
Yes, I can see.
yes, all you have to do. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Frustrating. While you go along, students, you have to learn to understand them, and they learn to understand you. But if you are distant to them, they won't understand you because you're high up there. But you are with their level, you can understand them. So, and make some sessions together with them and bring a cup of tea, with those students. I'm talking about the university now, but at schools, I mean, in the schools, it will be different. But at the university, it's not very bad to do that. You can just have a cup of tea or drink with them and talk about things together, and then allow them to shine as well, motivate them to shine as well. Because I mean, you can actually, even if you're a lecturer or a teacher, can learn from the students. Let them teach you as well, and they feel so proud of you. I mean, of themselves, because they can share with a doctor or share with a professor something that you don't know. If you learn and teach them at the same time, you will succeed. And like we're talking about music tools, because what are they using? What kind of notation are they using? What kind of notation are they reading music? Take United States. In the United States, they learn by ear. It was surprising to me. They learn by ear. They don't care about notation. They can do it for the class. That's a problem too. Conductors there must let kids learn the notation. Whatever is it, tonic solfa or or staff notation. But I advocate both. Both must be done because it helps them a lot at the end. Those two notations, like my voice students, before like about 10, the tonic solfa was sung in the schools. I remember I was in a choir myself, and when I was conducting choirs, I was using tonic solfa. And students were tonic solfa. They were just reading it because they know the modulator. It starts there with the modulator thing. So the pitches of notes, the different pitches of notes. So they must not learn with the tape. It can be secondary, that's tape thing. But otherwise, I just advocate that tonic solfa. And like right now, because I'm also trick music external moderator. So I find that some learners have still a little bit of that tonic solfa, and because the music is Eurocentric, it's more on staff notation. We want to little bit bring in this accommodate a person as well. I'm not sure whether I'm going away from this topic now, but I feel like I want to say something because it's killing us. The staff note. Sorry, can I go on?
Now I think continue, Doc. Yes, you can talk about it.
Let's talk about yes. The music is Eurocentric because the people in charge there are all white people. We just come in like years ago as black people inside, and then we found it like that. And they want the music to be strictly Eurocentric. And the CAPS document, the document of their of the music education, it says children must be exposed to diversity. They must be sensitive of other cultures and the music, you know, our way of notating music here is staff notation as black. And the kids, you find that when you write the exams, you find that sometimes if they don't know the melody, they will write it, if it's, they say staff notation, they will write it in tonic solfa, and you find that they're correct. And the other side, the other people, they will mark them wrong. But we argue that they must be marked correctly because they can hear the pitch, because you're playing it, and then you say they must write their notation. And CAPS says, any notation, didn't say staff notation only, just to accommodate the black people and the African kids as well. You know, because they are accommodated. The paper is written in English and to accommodate them, but or Xhosa to accommodate the black people. So what I'm arguing, this tonic solfa must come in because it helps them also as well. Like I was saying, my voice students, when they came in at the university, will give them staff notation because that's what they, but they will translate it to staff notation, to tonic solfa, so that it's faster and easier. And we allow them to do that because it's their background. You know what I'm talking about. So, I don't want to say yes.
Yes.
And if you accommodate that way, and then you don't be very highly strung and say, let's do notation, this, but they don't like it. They don't understand it. They will understand it when you mix it. We learn from the known to the unknown. And those are the things that we're trying to fight. Sorry, Sibu?
Now I was saying injalo, it's like that.
Injalo. Yes, from the known to the unknown. So those African kids, now they are told that they don't understand music, they don't know music. They slow. Yeah, I hate that word. That's it. They are very slow. It's because you're not taking from beginning, from home. From home, then when you come to class, it will be Western music, and then they get so confused. You will need to match those two. I'm talking about, you know, and even if we are doing the choral music, even if there's tonic solfa there, please do it with them. They must go back to the modulator so that they understand the music, and they will be interested, and that will help us to improve our. It must start at school.
Yes, I'm glad, Doc, you brought this issue up again, because I remember last week or 2 weeks ago, Tembela Vogo actually brought it up, the issue of tonic solfa. And I was very happy and pleased to see some of the colleagues who work in the music departments actually talking to that point as well, that it's important that when students are taught at university, the inclusion of the knowledge that they already have, so that they are taken from what they know to what they need to learn, instead of throwing them into a deep foreign thing to them. So I'm glad you brought it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the show. As you have experienced, it's been a struggle, you know, to stay connected. Unfortunately, that is the new normal in this day and age, because we have to connect through technology. We can't be in a physical space together all the time, even beyond the lockdown. This is going to be our normal, how we connect with people across the world. So let's just be patient with one another. As we are closing, let me see if Majiza is back. Yes, she's back, because this one will go to all of you. I'm going to start with Mfenyana. As we are closing the show, I just want you to talk to the young women conductors out there. I know a few here in the Western Cape that I have tried to motivate, that you do have the talent. You just need to keep trying and trying. Don't be scared, because some of them are scared. Just to motivate them and to tell them that it is possible, whether they are composers or they are conductors, because this is where we lack a number of women in terms of practice. I only know Uma Msambo, for instance, Uma Msambo as a woman composer. And now that Nina, you're about to retire, we know very few women who are left conducting. So ndicela nimotivate mzawuqala ngawe Mama Mfenyana, and we go on.
Thank you, Sbu. To start with GP case, our creator hated us. No one has to ill-treat each other with the other gender, female or male. So that means that women, because we experience this GBV, yes, it is. I think it is finding it's actually in choral music, although it was so clear the old days when women were only actors, were only recorders. They were not seen as people who can run a workshop. They were not seen as people who run an adjudicator's workshop and people who can adjudicate women. Only males do that. So now, at least things are becoming better. I want to say the coming young conductors. I said earlier that equip with everything that you can get in music, so that you can be clear of the way. Because as a
once again, we are losing Uma Mfenyana. Mama Majiza, same question or request I made to motivate the women conductors more, especially the young ones. I was giving that opportunity.
Okay, so to the young conductors, one should understand that working with choral music is like working with disadvantaged people, especially a Black child. And that's where you will see the fruits, that is the development. Talking of a disadvantaged child, disadvantage is a state of mind. And once that mind is free, then the potential is unearthed. And success is inevitable. So what you should do, focus, give yourself time. There must be something that is driving you. You must be driven in order to succeed. Something must drive you from within. We formed our choirs from zero. We formed our choirs with little knowledge in music, but we succeeded. Why? Because of the drive that we had in us. And when we are dealing with that drive, make sure that every time you plan and don't lose focus. These days, choirs are only focusing on competitions. And these competitions are killing the music. Competitions are really killing, because you go to the competition and you lose. You wait for the next competition to come and then start practicing, and you lose again. And you lose focus. Then the choirs are disappearing day in and day out, because people want to win. They don't want the development of the choral music. In our days, we used to have concerts, tours. We traveled a lot doing concerts, and it was so enjoyable. And the choirs developed a lot. We used to share with the choristers without resources. But today, when we talk of music, we talk of money. We talk of money. The main thing is about money. Hence, we have the lack of growth, the lack of growth of this choral music. You hardly see choirs practicing. The rehearsal rooms are closed, are locked actually. You don't hear a sound on those venues because they are not practicing. They've lost focus. And again, with maybe us, we have also lost focus because now we have just created our own territories, not focusing on the choristers. The talk that I think Nqata was talking about, the talks with the choristers, getting involved with the choristers, not talking about how are we going to do this, how are we going. Let us first start by doing the spade work. Let us develop a black child, because tomorrow will be gone. Sishiye ungekho nto emhlabeni. We produced ministers of religion. We produced professional musicians. We produced magistrates. We produced married couples. And we are proud to say, today, we know the work that we have done. Through nothing, from zero. We were not having any assistance financially. And the other thing is that if possible, let us encourage female pianists to be on stage, especially the black ones. We need female pianists so as to see if we are progressing or sihleli. And then lastly, the choristers of today, they do not want to spend money. They want everything to come mahala. They don't want to sacrifice. You have to phone, you have to hunt for them to come to practices. That's why these choirs are disappearing. E-conductors these days are tired. They are tired because they have to hunt for the choristers. E-choristers ati andinamali yokuza e-practicing. Andinamali yokuza e-practicing. So those are the things that need to be addressed. Some talks about choral music are needed, apart from the workshops on music that are to be presented on stage during the competitions. Those are competitions that kills the music of today.
Certainly, siyabulela kakhulu Majiza ngalo mazwi. Nqata, I'm with you now. Your last words and your motivational words to the young upcoming women in conducting.
Thank you, Sue. Young women must be encouraged to play a leading role in choral music and not underestimate themselves in their capability as choral practitioners. Also, we need to empower our young women in this sector by drawing their attention to the challenges that are currently hampering the sector and possibly equip them with a necessary skill that will help them in transforming this sector into a vibrant job creation industry that shall equally accommodating both the literate and illiterate participants / artists of our sector. I think everything has been said. You know, when Mrs. Majiza talk about our choristers that do not have money, they don't come to the rehearsals. That is a general problem. Also, yes, I will add, we say we need to empower our young women with visions that they can advance and advocate in creating an industry that will be able to contribute to the growth of the economy on our country for the recognition of our sector. You will see that our sector is not recognized. Our legends are gone and nobody say anything. And there also no activities in our sector. Activities are dormant in our sector.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nompula. Your last words.
Thank you, Sibu. I would just say to all the artists and the music people, the artists, any artists, you have got a talent. You've gone to school, especially women, you have gone to school and you've studied. You are talented. So be confident. Do not allow the fear to take charge and hold you back. Quit holding back your talent. Remember, your gift is from God and it's not for you alone. You need to share it to the world. Even if it's so difficult going through with those men just trying to put you down. Don't listen to them. Think big and be courageous. Maintain the spirit of that quality of mind, that firmness of mind that allows you to face difficulties. Believe in yourself. Be brave. Be fearless. Remember that you are beautiful. You are talented. You are that woman. No one can take away your talent. Thank you, Sibu.
Thank you so much. Mfenyana, ukhona sesugqibezela before siziphinde ndilahlekane now.
Okay, I just wanted to give you only 3 points on this GBV, because I said equip yourself so that you can be clear of your story. Secondly, one has to focus on the talent that you are given so that your passion can be very strong against men in this genre or in this fraternity. And you can stand against their emotional abuse. Thirdly, do not allow any favors to the other gender, because by allowing any favors, they are undermining your potential and strength. I.e., for instance, there is this business of helping each other in the choir. You give that person your choir to train, but that messes up the choir. What you can do as a young conductor, yes, you'll have challenges in the choir, you'll need someone to come. What you must do, you must know why you want him to come, so that when he is here, he must do only the second soprano part that he has come here for. Otherwise, don't give the whole choir to him, because he will take it and advantage you. Lastly, do not allow any favors at the expense of your talent or capability, because if you do that, you will never be independent. Be strong-willed. Make sure that you can support yourself in the choir. Supporting yourself means that you are able to train your choir yourself. Yes, someone can come and help you, but you must be able to train your choir on your own successfully. One other thing that you must have and be strong in it is to manage your choir. You must know your choir so that you can manage it properly, because you are not able to manage your choir without knowing it. Lastly, this will save your emotions, because the reason why people don't see this gender-based violence in choral music is because it is emotional. It is not physical abuse. It is very, very emotional. It stays with you if you are not strong. So be strong-willed, be independent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Dr. Yoli Nompula, umama Lindelwa Nqata, umama Norma Mfenyana, kunye nomama Majiza. Thank you so much for that wealth of wisdom. I hope people learned as much as I did. I've been so lucky or blessed in my career as a conductor to have interacted with these legends and many others. You know, there's one thing that is common about them. Like today, I saw a comment from one of the viewers saying, if Usisnolfe FM Chabe was alive, she would have been part of this. And I agree, she would have been part of this series. You know, with her and Omama Ababalapa, one thing that is common, she would always say to me, yabona namaduna atutulonke la madoda naxesha lawo. Yabona mna ndimandodwa pha phakathi kwawo. Andikhathali noba bangaza kuliphi icala. I'm always ready for them. And she had that confidence. Never a single moment where she was about to go on stage and you see her shivering because she might have been the only woman conducting in that specific performance against men, and she was always successful because of that kind of confidence. And that is the kind of confidence that they have inspired this afternoon. And I hope, lastly, that the challenges that they've raised are being listened to by all leaders, more especially choral music structures in South Africa. Because this thing of women pianists that Mrs. Majiza was speaking about, and developing more facilitators and adjudicators, it is a collective effort. It cannot happen by itself. We can't just speak about it and expect it to happen. So we have to be deliberate about it. We have to do it, you know. So I hope leaders zethu ezikhokhele umculo wezi structures in South Africa are actually listening. So thank you very much. Next week, like I said, I will be bringing more legends in this game of choral music. And one of them would be Umama Utsambo, the composer that resides in the Northwest province. Omnye wabo ngumama uSheila Spellman. If you remember, Ingoma Katat BC in 2017, mentioning some of those legends, Omangmande Sanguza, those are the women that are going to be part of the show during this month of August. Thank you very much. I will see you guys on Thursday in the choir hour. We are joined by Ichitungwiza Choral Society, no harmony singers from Zimbabwe, one of the best choirs we have in Africa. Ichitungwiza harmony singers on Thursday, choral hour at 7 o'clock. From me, Sibusiso Njeza, thank you for joining me. Good afternoon.